Since you became a Met, I mentioned June 2nd of last season, no one in baseball has thrown out more would-be base stealers than you. What goes into nabbing base runners? Is it the quick pop time? Is it getting out of your stance? Is it knowing that a guy might be going?
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything, like that is something I feel very proud to take runners out from in second or third base. But also it's a teamwork. It's also a lot of credit for the pitchers to do a good time to home plate. It's a combination between them, between me, and make a good throw. Sometimes shortstop or second base make a really good tax too. You see Lindor like 2 days ago, he just trying to follow the guy and make that out. So it's a little of combination of everybody, and yeah, let's keep doing what I do so far.
Hey, welcome to Meet at the Apple, presented by PC Richard & Son. I'm Vito Calisi. That's Jonathan Barron. And today, at the end of this episode, we are going to play a Luis Torrens episode that we're really excited to share with you guys. Luis talks a lot about coming over here from the Yankees, that trade, knowing Carlos Mendoza from his time there. It's a really cool conversation, so stay tuned at the end of the episode for that interview. But look, it was a tough 3-game series because the games were so good, and we had such a fun time over the course of these 3 days. The results weren't exactly what we wanted. You always want to see the Mets take series, but that didn't happen today. But I wish that would not discredit how Game 1, Tuesday night, was one of the most fun nights I've seen here at Citi Field, John. So I got that out of the way. Sorry to go on a tangent. Now it's your time to say something.
Yeah, so you said something. Now I want to say something. Kind of a crazy series.
Yeah.
Two very good teams. Two teams that will play next week, by the way. Two teams that had some big battles last year. I think that this is the best team the Mets have played to date. The Diamondbacks now 17-14. You look at the standings, you see a team in 4th place. This Diamondbacks team missing Ketel Marte, but still, Corbin Carroll, an early NL MVP candidate. Pavin Smith, if you don't know the name, learn the name. Off to a huge start. Eugenio Suarez has 10 home runs. He doesn't have many hits outside of the 10 home runs, but he's got 10 home runs. The Mets, unfortunately, in this series, get Corbin Burnes on Wednesday. They get Zach Gallen on Thursday, 2 of the best pitchers in the National League. That's tough. And even having said all that, the Mets on Wednesday night were a base hit away from winning that game. They were 0 for 10 with RISP. We talk about it all the time. You have ups and downs with RISP. On Wednesday, it was a down. On Thursday, the Mets were down again, and they fight back. And they were once again one swing away from tying or taking the lead. Mark Vientos puts the ball in the right field. Just twists foul into the stands. If it stayed not even in fair territory, but just in the field of play, probably caught, probably drives on the tying run, and then things are different potentially. We'll see how, you don't know how many manages the game. But again, a tough series, 2 hits from a Mets sweep against a very, very good Diamondbacks team. And that's how you got to take it. It's a long season. We've had incredible highs. Sometimes you get knocked down. I know Meek Phil tweeted this after the Twins loss, that I'm not going to remember that loss in the middle of April. You know what? We're not going to remember this loss on May 1st either. The Mets played a great series against a really good team. Now it's time to go on the road and get some wins.
A really good 3-game series where it was a lot of fun games. I mean, like last Game 2, just the crowd on their feet all the way up to the last out, which you could say for pretty much every single game this year. They've never been completely out of a game. I mean, all the way going back to opening day where Juan Soto got up with the winning, with being the winning run. So this team stays in every game no matter what, and that's the most you can ask for of a team. I brought up Game 1, how fun it was. I mean, the 4th inning, that combo of the 6-5-3 Vientos' glove to Lindor, back to Pete, then going right into the Tyrone Taylor diving catch. Then today we had a Nimmo home run, Rob. Like, the defense was incredible to watch, and we still had offensive moments that we haven't even talked about. We haven't talked about the onslaught of runs in Game 1 yet.
Yeah, against a good pitcher in Eduardo Rodriguez. Starling Marte hits a home run, showing off his new hairdo. Francisco Lindor homered against the Diamondbacks, continues to just own the Diamondbacks. Had a 5-hit game against them in 2023 out in Arizona. Had a 4-hit game against them right here at Citi Field in May of 2024. Hits the home run as a righty hitter on Tuesday night. So Lindor continues that. Pete Alonso, he homers. He's now 9 shy of tying David Wright on the Mets all-time list. And I think we really got to start counting down because he's now just 19 back of Darryl Strawberry for the Mets all-time home run record from tying Darryl Strawberry. So let's keep an eye on that as the Mets go on the road. So yeah, the bats were hot on Tuesday night. We had the zombies out at the ballpark. David Peterson was on the mound, didn't walk a batter. That's now just one walk in his last 4 starts issued by David Peterson. Love to continue to see him pound the strike zone. The bullpen did a good job. And you mentioned not giving up. In game 2 of the series, the Mets are down 2-1, top 9. They allow 2 runs. Now it's 4-1. A little energy sucked out of the ballpark, and you're thinking, all right, that's probably it. No, the Mets push back, and they put the winning run in scoring position. Now, of course, they don't get that run across. The weird play with Jesse Winker. He thinks he fouled the ball off his foot.
He didn't think, he did.
He did. Non-reviewable play. Jesse Winker involved in a non-reviewable play for a second straight series.
That's his thing.
That's kind of become his thing. And then on Thursday, once again, the Mets have the tying run, go-ahead run in scoring position. Unable to come up with that big hit, but this is a never say die, attitude team, and we know for a fact now, I believe we can say this is carried over from 2024. And that's what you love to see, is a lineup that keeps the line moving, that doesn't give away at-bats, that doesn't give away plate appearances, and truly is never out of a ball game. And we saw that against the Diamondbacks here this week. And the Mets are going to go to Arizona after the Cardinal series, a ballpark that sees a lot of runs scored, always has, like we talked about last year when the Mets went to Arizona, some classic ball games played there. 2 good teams going toe-to-toe. It's good baseball. It's good fun stuff to watch. And I don't know, you're going to stay up late?
You know me. I do stay up for all the late.
Yeah, I
stay up for all the West Coast games.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
And you know what it is? I just hate the feeling of like waking up in the middle of the night and like rushing to check my phone.
See, I do that also. And then once that beautiful blue light hits these eyeballs, I'm awake for 90 minutes minimum.
Yeah, like
90 minutes minimum.
That's the thing. Any West Coast game, I'm like, I'll be asleep. I'll wake up at like 2 or 3 if I go to sleep early. And
I won't even make it till 2 or 3.
I'll be like, oh no, I mean like I'll wake up at 2 or 3 in the middle of the night if I go to sleep early, and then I'll be like, oh wait, did the Mets win? And then I'm on, and then I'm like, well now I have to see what Twitter was saying about the game. I want to give a shout out to a listener.
Okay,
I was sitting 2 rows in front of Leo Kennedy.
Leo. Leo's our guy.
Dude, I was sitting 2 rows in front of him. We didn't talk too much, but we were looking at each other during the review at second. Both of us just like yelling like that was an obvious call, just having fun. So it was good to see him. And then today, I'm walking to come record this podcast, and he spots me again in the crowd of people.
Timeout. Today's Thursday, May 1st. I know there's a lot of, was he with the school or was he playing?
No, he was by himself.
Leo.
No, Leo does what he wants.
I hope Leo's teachers don't listen to Meet at the Apple. You just outed Leo.
He probably tweeted about it. Leo likes to tweet. But dude, there were so many great moments in this series. We'll get to our That's Electric moment in a second. But before we get to that, I think we need to give a special just mention to the reception that Brandon Waddell got walking off the mound after pitching a solid 4 innings of no-run baseball for this team in a pinch. Watching the fans just give him that standing ovation walking off the mound, a guy who hasn't pitched in the big since 2021, was playing for the Rakuten Monkeys, played somewhere else. It was just such a special moment, and it's why I love Mets fans.
Yeah, and Brandon Waddell, by the way, did a great job.
Yeah.
We always talk about David Stearns and the smaller moves that don't get the big fanfare. To find an arm like Brandon Waddell and have him come up and pitch the bulk situation, kind of like Justin Hagenman did a few weeks ago in Minnesota.
Identical situation.
Piggybacking off of a really good start by Huáscar Brazoban, who also did a great job, giving the Mets 2 scoreless right out of the chute, facing the top of the Diamondbacks lineup, passing the baton to Waddell, who was fantastic, allowed just 3 hits to 16 at-bats, held the Diamondbacks to 0 for 6 with the slider. He had at least 1 whiff with 5 different pitches. I know after the game, especially with the Danny Young news, which is, unfortunate news. AJ Minter and then Danny Young both go down. Sounds like it could be a pretty long-term thing for both guys, so we'll see. Brandon Waddell reminds you of Danny Young with the way that he attacks hitters with the stuff, that big sweeping slider. Like I just mentioned, it was very effective on Wednesday, but it sounds like the Mets want to keep him stretched out as a starting option or a bulk option possibly in these starter and then bulk guy situations that the Mets have been using. I know on Sunday right now, the Mets have a TBD listed in St. Louis. The Mets could wind up doing something similar with Waddell, but you hit the nail on the head with Waddell when you talk about the kind of story that he is, going overseas and not having pitched in the major leagues for 3+ seasons and coming back and not just getting back on the big league mound, which is such an accomplishment. I mean, it's easy for us to say. We're sitting here with microphones, a banana, and a water bottle, and this guy is facing MVP caliber hitters and the lineup that the Diamondbacks had. They've averaged the 4th most runs per game in all of baseball. But he shuts him down, like you said, throwing 4 shutty innings. So a great job by Brandon Waddell, a great job by the Mets front office, scouting and bringing Brandon Waddell in and creating that depth that allows the Mets to go and bring a guy up to give Kodai Senga an extra day of rest, which the Mets wanted to do. A great job by the support staff, helping Brandon Waddell have the success he's had. He got the chance because he had been so dominant for the Syracuse Mets this year. Everyone was wondering, might it be Brandon Sproat? Who's it going to be? It was Waddell, and the Mets made the right decision. So shout out Brandon Waddell. The one thing I did not come prepared with, last night I thought to myself, number 82. That's not a common one in Mets history. I can't remember an 82. I cannot remember an 82.
No.
I think Carlos Gomez wore 91. Juan Lagares might have worn a number in the 80s. Like, I think the 3rd time he came back, 82 is not a common one whatsoever. I'm going to look it up. You talk.
All right. Well, perfect time to bring up the That's Electric moment of the series presented by PC Richard and Son. I feel like there's no other choice but to bring up Juan Soto not only hitting his first home run as a Met at Citi Field, but then following that up with his 2nd home run as a Met at Citi Field in the same game. Just the crowd was absolutely electric, and we've seen these incredible day game crowds in the middle of the week. So Juan Soto, 2 home run game.
Yeah, so after Wednesday's game, Carlos Mendoza was asked by the media, do you think Juan is pressing at this point? Because we've all been waiting for that first Citi Field home run to come, and we know he almost had one against the Phillies last homestand. Just hooked it foul, and Mendy gave a really, really cerebral answer. And he said, number one, he hit a ball 113 off the bat. That was his first plate appearance on Wednesday. And then he hit a couple balls in the air to left center field, which we know is Juan Soto's sweet swing. I don't want to call it his sweet spot, but he does that better than almost any lefty hitter you can ever see, current or past. And when you put those two together, hitting the you-know-what out of the ball, he also had a ball batted 113 over the weekend in D.C., and he's starting to find that left center field gap-to-gap swing. You had a feeling it was coming. Now, he hit a home run. His first one came against Zach Gallen against the cutter. Gallen was really throwing the kitchen sink about him at Soto, and he doubled up. The pitch before was a cutter, and then he went back to the well with the cutter, and he didn't get in enough on the hands of Soto. And Soto was ready for that cutter, having seen the pitch just before. Gallen left it too far over the plate. Danger zone, home run. The second at-bat against Kevin Ginkel, who had a really good series for the Diamondbacks, a 9-pitch at-bat, and it reminded me a lot of the at-bat that Soto put forth. New York sports fans remember it against Hunter Gaddis, Game 5 of the American League Championship Series, where Soto, at one point, nodded to Hunter Gaddis and basically said, I got you, dude. You're in trouble. You're not getting me out. I'm winning this battle. And then eventually hits the 3-run home run that propels the Yankees to the World Series. The kind of battle Soto put forth in this at-bat, fouling pitches off, taking pitches, waiting for the pitch he could do damage on, and doing that damage because when he put that ball in the air, I watched the flight of the ball, and I looked at home plate, and Soto was still standing there. He knew it. All of Citi Field knew it. What an at-bat. What a moment. What a day. And I hope everyone out there can breathe. I know there's been a lot of talk about Juan Soto, and is he going to... The guy's still going to hit 30 home runs. Now the Mets go on the road. Let's just play baseball. Let's just be the guy who people have been calling Ted Williams for pretty much the entirety of his big league career, who helped the Nationals win a World Series at the age of 20, facing the likes of Verlander and Greinke and Garrett Cole. That's who Juan Soto is. He showed it on Thursday afternoon, and get used to it because it's not going to change for the next 15 seasons.
Yeah, dude, it was one of those things where you could tell even big leaguers, like sometimes you just got to get the monkey off your back. You just got to get that first home run. You just got to get that first thing. And I feel like we're about to see Juan Soto go off on a run over the next week.
Yeah, and I think that, you want to see Juan using the left side of the field. He had that double against Ryan Fernandez on Easter Sunday against the Cardinals where he put one to left center. And I said right here, I think it's coming. Then he started to get a little pull happy again. On Wednesday night, his first at bat, he hit a ball that I thought was gone off the bat, a little too much topspin. But then you look at the exit velo, the one that I mentioned, 113, and you felt it.
Yeah.
He was on it. He was on it, and on Thursday, it finally happened for him.
And also, there were moments where the bottom of this lineup was really just coming through. I mean, like the Tyrone Taylor home run in the 9th inning on Wednesday night cannot be ignored. Sorry, the Monday game 4 is really making it hard for me to not say Wednesday over and over again.
And Tyrone hit that home run against Justin Martinez, who he went on the injured list on Thursday, so obviously wasn't 100%, but nasty lights out stuff. So for Tyrone to hit that home run, flip the lineup over, and then Lindor walks and Soto walks. We don't need to recount the 9th inning on Wednesday, but the bottom of the lineup, like you mentioned, Jeff McNeil has hit safely in every game he's played in since he returned. How about the ultimate sign of respect? The Diamondbacks putting up 4, giving Jeff the free pass on Wednesday night against Thompson, who Jeff singled against on Thursday. So Torey Lovullo made the right decision, I think, there, because Thompson has a bit of a sidearm delivery. I think that's right in Jeff's wheelhouse. So probably the right move there by Torey Lovullo. A very good manager, by the way, very good baseball man. Managed the Snakes team to the World Series a couple years ago. But yeah, Jeff McNeil, a very, 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 very positive sign. The great start he's off to since returning.
So Jeff tried to bunt today using the torpedo bat. And I was like, I want to get your perspective on this. It's got to be harder to bunt with a torpedo bat than a regular bat, right? Because you have like a smaller margin of error there because you don't have like a big rounded column. You're moving with like one sweet spot.
Yes, and I think that it's probably a little bit easier to pop it up.
Yeah.
But Jeff McNeil is a guy who has elite barrel control. And I think a lot of that, I think that's why Jeff is such a great golfer, honestly. I think that the two go hand in hand. And we talked about when we saw that Jeff had started using the torpedo bat during his rehab in Binghamton, that he's probably a guy who it's going to work out for because the way he controls the barrel and because the way that he handles the bat. So that's what Jeff McNeil's game is. He continues to pull the ball, by the way, which I love to see. Just a really, really big addition to this lineup, lengthening the lineup as the Mets continue to be whole as a lineup.
Oh, and John, before I forget, we do have something cool in this room from Ryan Caccioli and amazing Mets memorabilia. So,
oh wow, look at that.
These are game-used Pete Alonso uniform items, a jersey and a hat from Jackie Robinson Day, and where Pete did do a little something that day.
He did. Pete homered on Jackie Robinson Day, wearing the number 42. Got the patch right here. I didn't realize this. They don't. First of all, two nice details. The old school hats back in the day, the undercarriage of the brim was green, so we got a green brim right there, and then also Jackie Robinson is inscribed. Pete's hat size, 7 3/8, in case you want to buy it and sport it. I would buy it and put it in a case and never wear it around. But yeah, a great cause that the winning auction goes to. The auction goes till 8 p.m. on Sunday night. So if you're big collectors, if you want to get into collecting, a great first piece or maybe a 50th piece to your collection right here, just visit Mets.com/auction, and all the proceeds will benefit the Jackie Robinson Foundation. So you can beef up your Mets collection, get a piece of Met history. We mentioned earlier in the episode that Pete is closing in on Darryl Strawberry's Mets home run record. Pete was wearing this very jersey. It's kind of cool touching it when he hit a home run this season in Minnesota back on April 15th. So really cool opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, man. You know what's cool? This is actually the first time I've seen the new jersey. I haven't gone to the store since they started selling it.
Well, so the material is the same. The lettering is the material is the same as last year, I think.
No, yeah, it's just they got rid of the piping and they
you mean the new road jersey?
Yeah, the new road jersey.
God.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I thought you meant the new stretchy material.
No. But also, I mean, they also got rid of the bib, I guess.
Yeah, the bib was...
No, the bib, I did not like the bib. This was one of the best things they did was get rid of that bib, because then when you bought it, you just looked silly.
Yeah, it's like fight straps in a hockey jersey. But
I like the fight straps on the hockey jersey, though.
Get out of here.
But, dude, no, these are sick, and this is, like we said, this is available till Sunday night at 8 p.m., Mets.com/auctions. Pete Alonso homered in this on Jackie Robinson Day, so go get it while you can, 8 p.m. Sunday, so start bidding right now. Now, let's talk about Luisangel Acuña, because on Tuesday night, I had another moment where I said it in the last episode. I said John was right, and I want to say it again. Watching Luisangel Acuña, the second he gets on base, I am fully tuned in. Not that I'm not tuned into the game regardless, but when he gets on base, I feel like I'm watching a whole new show.
So I want to shout out, I don't usually do this, but I want to shout out my sister Allie and my brother-in-law Rob, who have gotten really into the Mets this season. They've been watching every single game. And they're expecting a little one pretty soon, so that's really exciting. Pretty soon, a couple weeks. And they've been texting me their thoughts, their feedback about what they're seeing out there. And they told me that Luisangel Acuña is their favorite player. And every time he comes up, they're so excited. They wait for Luisangel Acuña's at bats. They love seeing him in the field. He's just an electrifying, easy guy to root for. And I think a lot of Mets fans out there feel that way about Luisangel Acuña with what he's doing. And he is one of the pleasant surprises on this Mets team, a guy that when we did our season previews and a lot of the prognosticators talked about what the 2025 Mets will look like, no one really talked about the impact that a Luisangel Acuña could make both defensively and also on the base paths. And we continue to talk about the havoc he wreaks on the base paths, but the bat and the bat to ball and not striking out, which he did a lot of in AAA in 2024, he's not doing it. He puts the ball in play. And I know we talked about the Jose Reyes comparison, and that was the thing about Jose. When Jose hit home runs back in his day, I actually had a weird dream about Jose Reyes last night. I'm not even kidding. Like, I think he came on the podcast.
Oh, really?
I think I had a dream we interviewed Jose Reyes. A local guy, Manhasset. We could always hit him up. But when Jose hit home runs, and he hit 19 in 2006, I think that was his career high, it was almost a bad thing because then he wanted to be a home run hitter. Home runs are sick, right? You want to show the muscle and round the bases, but that wasn't his game. It was put the ball on the ground, man. You're one of the fastest dudes in baseball. Make them throw you out. Get on base. Steal a base. Make the other pitcher crazy. Make the defense feel the pressure. Put them on their heels. When Acuña's in the batter's box, he's doing that. When he's on base, he's doing that. And it's very similar to what we saw with Jose Reyes. And there aren't many guys like that. There's fast guys, but there aren't guys who are super aggressive and just make the other defense and the other team, the other dugout say, oh, bleep. I don't curse anymore on the show, Vito. I don't curse on the show, Vito.
Now, I know him and Jose Siri obviously didn't get to spend that much time playing together in a roster because Jose Siri went down early. But do you think there was any impact from Jose Siri to Luisangel Acuña? Because we've seen Luisangel Acuña be more aggressive than ever this year, and we know that's a big part of Siri's game. We saw him do it early in the year. We saw them spending some time together during spring training. It just feels like this team is all about guys giving each other different inputs and giving guys different skill sets, helping each other. And I feel like there might have been some kind of collaboration there.
So I would love to interview Antoine Richardson.
We've done it before.
I would love to interview Antoine Richardson.
You have interesting dreams in this episode.
That wasn't a dream. That's something that I'd like to do soon. Because Antoine Richardson was a guy who was often used as a pinch runner during his big league career. Fun fact, if you guys don't know, a little trivia. I know we talked about this.
John brought this up to Antoine Richardson in photo.
I mean, it's a great Antoine Richardson stat. He scored the winning run on Derek Jeter's walk-off hit in his final game at Yankee Stadium in 2014 against the Orioles. And I think he was a pinch runner in that situation.
Yeah.
I think it's a philosophy the Mets are teaching everyone. Be aggressive on the bases. Take the extra base. The Mets go first to third, better than any team in baseball. There's tons of base running stats. We talked about BSR, Fangraphs, all-encompassing base running statistic. The Mets are amongst the leaders in baseball in that category. So I don't think it's necessarily Jose Siri, who obviously is lightning fast. His nickname is El Rayo, Lightning. I think that it's a philosophy that the Mets are just implementing team-wide. I think that Luisangel Acuña has the God-given ability to run the bases the way he does. You sprinkle in good coaching, a philosophy of let's be aggressive, and you get what you're seeing with Luisangel Acuña.
And I'm begging Luisangel Acuña to bring something back.
What's that?
The bubblegum. The bubblegum became like his thing in his first week in the majors last year.
It's tough, you know.
No, I mean, I don't know if I could blow bubbles and like run.
You know who did that? Famously?
Ken Griffey Jr.?
He was a bubble. No, Mike Piazza would like run down not a fast guy, opposite of Luisangel Acuña. Literally polar opposite. And he would like blow a bubble as he ran up the first base line. Almost, like such a tough thing to do. Very talented.
That moment last year where Luisangel Acuña was like rounding second and he just looked out to like the hard camera shot in the outfield and you saw the bubble just taking over his face. I felt like that was going to be like one of the defining traits of Luisangel Acuña. And behind the scenes thing, he had not filmed his like Citi Connect green screen thing yet because he wasn't there. They didn't know if he was going to be in the major league roster. So right before he came down here to do his green screen when he got called up, I remember they had him on the green screen and they were trying to like get a big bubble to blow up to like put on his green, but it just like it wasn't working. Like the bubble couldn't get big enough. But so Luisangel Acuña, if you're listening to this podcast, I know you love Meet at the Apple. You've done it twice. You love the show. Bring back the bubble, dude. I love the bubble. But dude, look, like I said, it was a really fun 3-game series. Like it was a really fun 3 games to be at. This team was in it. These fans are in every game. And I just want to give like a relaxation, like a calming note to fans of, yes, two in a row suck at home. We haven't done it since July of last year. That was or June of, I think July of last year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
If they like, they still tied the record for most NL wins in the month of April. They still did that this month. They also still tied a record for most home wins in April in all of baseball all time. So as tough as it feels to lose 2 games in a row, overwhelmingly incredible month. You're in first place. The team is doing good. These guys' bats are starting to wake up. Everything is good right now. This isn't like last year at this time.
No, I mean, we have a lot of blessings to count right now. The next time the Mets come home, it'll be Mother's Day weekend. We had a beautiful weather day here on Thursday at the ballpark.
Incredible.
The weather continues to get better. Friday, May 9th is going to be a great night at the ballpark. Saturday, the 10th will be a great day at the ballpark. And then actually that's a night game. That's a Fox game, 7:15 against the Cubs on Saturday.
Oh, sick.
That'll be a great battle with Chicago. And then Mother's Day, a Roku noon start. And then the Pirates come to town. And then the Mets go on the road again. And they come back for a really long homestand with a couple fireworks shows. The Dodgers in town, the White Sox, the Rockies. So 1 month down, really couldn't have asked for a better April than we got. It ends with a really, really tough, close one on Wednesday night against a good team. And on Thursday, the Mets start May with a really tough, close one against a really good team. Now they have a rematch with the Cardinals, and they go for a rematch with the Diamondbacks. So all things considered, the Mets starting pitchers allowed just 2 runs in this series total. We mentioned sometimes that wrist block is just not going to be there, and you're going to feel frustrated. And I think that's what people are feeling right now is frustrated. 2 for 14 in the series with Risp. It's going to turn. It's a great lineup. You know, Francisco Lindor went 0 for 4 on Thursday. It's been one of the best players in baseball. We know he's going to hit. What we do need are the weather gods, Mother Nature, to cooperate when the Mets go to St. Louis. Weather's looking a little iffy, a little spotty in St. Louis. I mean, that could be a lot of questions.
Well, yeah, it's just a joke. Because last year,
the Rams were wondering the same thing.
We had that weird thing last year where we had to go back in the middle of a long West Coast trip. And then when I went to St. Louis for a wedding 2 years ago, John, I actually saw Yankees Cardinals, and I saw the Cardinals put a stomping on the Yankees. It was sick.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
It was a fun day at the ballpark.
Yeah.
But got caught in torrential downpour.
Yeah, this is actually a better time to go to St. Louis than, say, like the middle of July. You went in the summer.
I went July 4th weekend.
Yeah, it's really hot. It's really muggy. It's really rainy. So you went at a good time.
A bad time I went.
Yeah, you went at a bad time. The Mets are going at a better time.
But they went around this time last year because we spoke to, I remember it was early in the
they
season.
certainly did. The Rangers were in the second round against Carolina. That's right.
It was like our second interview with Mendoza, and it was on Zoom or StreamYard or whatever.
Yep.
And we actually, I think we didn't do the interview. We were about to do the interview and found out the game was getting canceled.
They got banged. Yeah, but then they had to go back there in the middle of a trip in August. That's right. So, hey, we got Clay Holmes going up against Sonny Gray on Friday night. We got Tyler McGill and Eric Fetty going on Saturday. Fetty Wap, that's right, former National. And then Sunday, like I mentioned before, the Mets had that TBD listed right now against Andre Palante, who the Mets beat back on April 17th, I believe it was. So Mets and Cardinals will reacquaint in St. Louis. Hopefully the weather holds up because there's nothing worse than getting ready for a little Mets baseball on the road. You know, we're here for the games, but when they're on the road, it's nice, get to relax, have a meal, make some dinner, make some plans, and it's really fun to watch them on TV and just be a fan, lock in as a spectator. And then you got a rain delay. I mean, it happened when they were in D.C.
2 in a game.
2 in an hour and a half. That stinks, so no one likes that.
Look, I like to watch 3-3-1 as much as the next person, but...
Yeah, so hopefully the weather holds up and the Mets and Cardinals can play uninterrupted baseball, and hopefully the Mets get themselves on the right track. But, you know, I talked about this being a resilient team and that characteristic carrying over from last year. And I think that's an in-game and a series-to-series thing also, because the Mets had some tough losses to end series last year.
Oh, yeah, we did. we record this episode the last game of every series, and as good as the Mets were last year, we would always find ourselves just happening to record on a day after the day of a loss. And it was actually something funny where Gelb said something to me this season, and Gelbs came up to me because we share this room, and he was like, "Hey, you guys are about to do a good one right now, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "This is going to be a lot different than last year." He said, "You guys are going to be recording a lot more fun episodes than bad ones this year."
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot to be happy about and have fun with. But I remember when the team went on the photo, right? Like that was after a tough loss.
Yeah.
They go, and these guys, the road is a great place for a baseball team. For I think any team, any group of people that are sharing a common goal. There's bonding that happens on the road
for sure.
So
especially St. Louis, there is some maybe they could go on a tour. Rawlings has a brand new experience. Maybe they'll go check that out.
Whatever it is that they're doing, you get on the bus, you go on the plane, you talk,
you get fried ravioli,
you get fried ravioli,
maybe ribs.
Maybe they could watch the Blues. The Blues and Winnipeg Jets are in a great series right now, 3-2, headed back to St. Louis for Game 6. We'll see if the Blues can force Game 7. They love when I talk hockey on the show. And there isn't any East Coast hockey left. The Rangers and Islanders missed. The Devils got eliminated. That stinks. We got no tri-state area hockey, and I'm still finding a way. So I got you guys. No Indiana Hoosier talk. Don't worry. I read those comments on Apple. I know you guys don't want it. Don't worry. I got you.
But look, before we get out of here, we do want to air an interview we did for you with Luis Torrens just last week. Talked to Luis Torrens about how impactful him getting traded here was, his relationship with Carlos Mendoza going all the way back to the Yankees, his relationship with Alvi, who he's known because they're both from Venezuela, and also just something I was told before that we got to talk to him about, like how important fatherhood is to him and having his two boys.
Yeah, and you mentioned the trade. He's been given an opportunity here with the Mets, and he has been a stalwart since he got here to the Mets. So far this year, including Thursday, he had a caught stealing against Corbin Carroll, who stole 54 bases 2 years ago, 35 last year, and was a perfect 5 for 5 entering Thursday. And Luis Torrens threw an absolute dime down to Francisco Lindor at second base. Carroll was out by 5 steps, a sprint speed of just under 30 feet per second, which is elite speed in baseball. And Luis Torrens had him. It wasn't even remotely close. Luis is now 6 for 12, throwing out would-be base stealers. We've talked about this going back to his Mets debut on June 2nd, 2024. Has the highest catcher caught stealing rate of anybody in baseball. And we know there's a lot of conversation when Francisco Alvarez started to inch closer to return. What are they going to do? Luis Torrens is still going to play, still going to make a big impact, having spring training with this pitching staff, getting to know these guys a whole lot better, being a field general out there. The Mets have, in my opinion, the best catching duo in all of baseball, and that's so important. It's such an important position. You control the game behind the plate. And for the Mets to have those two guys, they are blessed. Luis Torrens a huge part of that. So enjoy the interview with Luis Torrens.
Welcome to Meet at the Apple. I'm Vito Calisi. That's Jonathan Barron, and we're here with Luis Torrens, and this is Meet at the Apple presented by PC Richard & Son. Luis, we've been so excited to talk to you. We wanted to talk to you at spring training, didn't get to link up. But one thing I think Mets fans have been curious of, you get over here last year after a trade from the Yankees, which I think Mets fans would agree, one of the best trades this team has ever made. You were a huge impact on last year's team, and even this year with Alvi going down. But Carlos Mendoza, amazing manager, was with the Yankees before this. Can you talk to us about your relationship with Mendy going back to there, and then what it was like to link back up with him here?
Yes, well, first, thanks for having me here. I'm very excited to be here. And well, yes, when I get here to the Mets organization, I feel like very proud. I feel like this is the team I want to be. And since day one, I feel like family, feels like home. And for sure, for me, it's a privilege to be here. And it's something I feel very proud. Yes, I know Mendy since long time ago, even from Venezuela too. So I know him a little bit. I'm very excited where he are right now with our team and how he doing everything.
You made your Met debut June 2nd. Shortly after that, you guys went to London, and this is the first time we're having you on the show. So we would have asked you about this a long time ago, but you're in the seat now, so we're going to ask you now.
Perfect.
The double play to end Game 2 in London. Take us through the moment, the little chopper. Just walk us through the whole thing.
Well, yes, was a big game for me, also for the team. Like at that point, just everything was just react. Like no much time to think about it because the situation, the last thing you expect is he gonna hit a ball like 2 feet in front of the play. Yeah, especially Castellano, in that situation. And yeah, I took the ball. Okay, let's try to get one out in the home play first, and after that, let's try to make a good throw to first. If it is a double play, it's good. If not, okay, still have one more opportunity, right? And thanks God was good opportunity to make the double play and finish the game.
And they say that catchers coming in the middle of a season is always the toughest because you've got to know the entire staff. But for you having that moment, did that kind of make you feel at home a little bit on this team, being the centerpiece of such a great moment?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, like you say, it's not an easy thing. It's not hard. It's I think the key is have good relationship with the guys, but also communicate with them the most.
So you get traded over here last year, and like we said, you were just such a big part of this team. And like, people talk about OMG, people talk about Grimace, people talk about all those things, but you coming over here was a huge part of that turnaround. And then this year, Alvy goes down again early in the season, and then you step up. What is about these pressure moments, these being put into the spotlight where you just come in and you really deliver?
Well, I think the preparation, you have to be like prepared for those moments. And also think when you play with all those good players around you that make you feel like you're one of them, and I think we have a really good team and that make me feel part of that.
All right, let's talk about something that I've been looking forward to speaking with you a lot about, and that is your catcher caught stealing rate. Since you became a Met, I mentioned June 2nd of last season, no one in baseball has thrown out more would-be base stealers than you. So what goes into nabbing base runners? Is it the quick pop time? Is it getting out of your stance? Is it knowing that a guy might be going? How do you have so much success in this area?
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything, like that is something I feel very proud to take runners out from in second or third base, but also it's a teamwork. It's also a lot of credit for the pitchers to do a good time to home play. It's a combination between them, between me, and make a good throw. Sometimes shortstop or second base make a really good tax too. You see Lindor like 2 days ago, he just trying to follow the guy and make that out. So it's a little of combination of everybody, and yeah, let's keep doing what I do so far.
You talk about teamwork. I want to talk to you about clicking with pitchers in general, right? What is that relationship like at spring training where you're starting to talk to your rotation and getting to know them and be like, okay, this is how I like to call a game, but like versus how you like to pitch a game?
Yes, that's sometimes that takes time, know the other person, but also like trying to create a good relationship. I think it's very important, especially also as a catcher. And other than that, just communicate with them, like trying to have a conversation about basically everything. That's what I'm trying to do, and watch a lot of videos, and I would like to feel like I'm very prepared before the games with them to have a really good plan when the game's on.
I want to piggyback off that. I want to talk a little bit about the starting rotation and each guy and what makes them so different. I know pitchers are creatures of habit, but they're all very different guys. So talk to us about Griffin Canning a little bit and working with him in a start. He dominated on Thursday night against the Cardinals.
Well, yes, last night was a special night for us, especially after he missed one starting in Minnesota. But other than that, like the game plan we have before the game was excellent. I think we executed well, and I think he did a really good job with all his pitches. Everything's worked well, and yeah, I like how he competes when he's in the mound. I feel like I can feel the presence of him in the mound, so that's something that is contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And I can feel that too, and so I like to be part of that.
How about Kodai Senga? His last start in Sacramento, dominant, off to a great start. ERA just a bit over 1. We know the ghost fork, a pitch that's not a strike pitch. You got to be ready to block that thing in the dirt. What's it like working with Kodai?
It's good. It's good too. He's a very smart guy. Also have a lot of talent. And yeah, that day was special because I feel like we attack every hitter. And I think that's the most important thing when you are a pitcher. Attack, be in that mode to attack hitters. And after that, he have really good pitches to work with sliders, the fork ball, and fastball plays really well too. Also 97, 96 in the 16. So that was really good.
Tyler McGill, a guy that has 7 different pitches. So I'm sure the pitch column's really active, maybe shaking a little bit, but what's it like working with Tyler?
It's good. It's good too. All those guys are really good. And yeah, he have a lot of different pitches, but also his fastball is the best pitch he have. You know, it's sinkers, fastball. Now he can mix both fastballs, sinkers, and fastballs, and everything else plays well after the fastball. So it's good to be outside with McGill, and that's another guy I feel like very proud.
David Peterson, who we like to talk about, is a bad day to be a worm when David Peterson's on the mound. King of the double play, king of the ground ball. What's it like working with David?
It's good. Yeah, like you said, he got a lot of ground balls, especially with the sinkers, with curveballs, with changeups. He is that kind of guy, like, if we attack the zone, we're going to be a good results. And yeah, he's so far he's doing really good job. Since last year, he's been pitching really well. So yeah, excited for him.
And then Clay Holmes is an interesting situation because you're part of a whole new process for him, right? Like he's trying to go from a reliever into a starter and stretch out over the course of the season. So how is it like just kind of being a part of this journey that he's on?
Yeah, it's good. But since I saw that guy the first day in the spring training, I said like, yeah, this guy is a starting pitcher. And that is something he feels proud about, to be a starting guy, and especially for us in the Mets, you know. And sinker is a monster pitch for him. Also, he have really good changeup so far, and the slider and sweeper is two other good pitches. And when the velos is there, everything's worked well.
And then there's a whole bullpen with a lot of electric arms: Reed Garrett, AJ Minter, Edwin Díaz, Ryan Stanek, Huáscar Brazoban, Max Kranick. The list goes on and on. Daniel Nunez hasn't even pitched in the bigs yet this year. So you've got a lot of different guys to work with. And like we said before, everyone's different. There's not one size fits all approach. And then you've got Jeremy Hefner and Desi Druschel, who are also in the mix here. So take us through a day of game planning, knowing, okay, we got the starting pitcher who might go 5, might go 6, but then we're going to have a couple guys throwing heat out of the bullpen. So what is it like from your end, working with the pitching staff and also the pitching gurus and Jeremy and Desi, trying to formulate the perfect game plan for a given night?
Yes, like you say, it's a lot of credit for those people, especially our pitching coach, Jose Rosado, also in the bullpen. He do a really good job to make those guys, like, when they come to the game, they come like ready with a plan. So that's what we're asking for, like, be prepared for the situation, take a notes from the first 5 innings of the game, and everybody doing really good job. I think like how everybody prepared before the game is a key for us to be that successful.
Want to talk about Edwin. We know about the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
He's running out from the bullpen. Everyone's focused on him, rightfully so. He's the closer. But the catcher's there waiting. What's it like being behind the plate, waiting for Edwin to get to the mound, going through the entire show, which is a great show, but what's it like for you?
Yeah, it is. It's an exciting moment, you know, because he always going in good situations. So yeah, when you hear the song, when you saw him in the mound, you say, okay, we have a chance to win this game with this guy in the mound. So it's exciting, and at the same time, like, you feel like, okay, let's compete.
So you brought up before when we talked about Carlos Mendoza, the Venezuelan connection. And on this team, there's a few guys from Venezuela. You got Luisangel Acuña, Francisco Alvarez, and Jose Buto.
Mm-hmm.
What is that camaraderie like among you guys who hail from the same country?
Well, it's good, you know. It's always good to have people from your same country. We basically grew up in the same situations, and it's good so far. Well, I expect it's gonna be good for the rest of the years too, but excited to spend time with them and also like share good moments on the field with them.
Speaking of camaraderie, there was a fun moment. Pete Alonso hit that grand slam in Miami, and SNY cut to the dugout. You're on the top step, and you're waving the bat around in the air. Electric celebration. Is that something that we might see more of? Because I know we had the OMG sign last year. Obviously, that's no longer a thing. I think some bat waving could be a thing, Louis.
Yeah, well, let's see. I think if I have that space in the dugout, I'm probably gonna do. But other than that, like, let's try to be careful with that.
Safety first.
Yes, especially, you know. But yeah, you always get excited when, especially in that moment, he hit a grand slam. Is a biggest spot for us in the game. So yeah, you get a little bit extra excited.
So last question for you. You're a dad, right? You have a son?
Yes, 2.
2 sons. What's dad life like for you? Like how do you spend your time when you're with your sons? You showing them baseball, you teaching them how to be catchers. Is that part of the plan for you?
No, at all. I want my sons play soccer. But yeah, it's a nice journey. You know, be a dad is a special, especially after I have 2 boys. So the oldest one is like almost 3, and the youngest one is almost 1. So right now, they're in a moment like it's tough moments, but I enjoy a lot.
Are you planning on maybe at some point coaching the Little League soccer teams when it's time for them to play soccer?
Well, let's see how life comes through, you know. But for now, I just want to enjoy moments with them.
So they're not playing video games yet, right?
No, not at all.
Well, when they are, you know where you can go to get them their first video game console?
Uh-huh.
Do you know where you can go to get them their first video game console when they are there?
MLB?
No, I'll tell you. PC Richard and Son.
Okay.
They're all over New York. Great prices, best place to buy TV, tons of discounts.
They are.
Okay.
And before we wrap up, just a quick reminder to head to your local PC Richard and Son this week. They're local, family owned, and we trust them. Louis trusts them as well to have the guaranteed lowest prices and friendly, knowledgeable staff for appliances, TVs, video game consoles, electronics, mattresses. Get to PC Richard and Son, easy for me to say, the company you can trust since 1903.
Perfect. Nice.
Well, thank you, Luis. And, we look forward to talking to you again, but thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, guys.